Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Hampton, and I am the guitar teacher at South Medford High School. I teach beginning guitar, and I am here to give you a brief lesson. I want to emphasize beginning guitar for those of you that are beginners out there, because I think that's the toughest part of learning the guitar is at the beginning stages where your hands are hurting and you don't feel like you can do it. Everything feels awkward and it can be very discouraging. So my job is to encourage you and give you things to play that can give you some success, because that's what you really need. Is you need to experience some success as soon as you can, because learning guitar is not easy. So the first thing I'd like to teach you as a beginner is some exercises for your hands so that we're building up dexterity in our hands. That's the vocab word of the day, is dexterity. Trying to get our fingers to do something that we've never asked it to do before. So at first, just like anything you learn, it's going to be pretty awkward and you won't be able to do it very well. So the most important thing is for you to remain positive throughout the whole thing. Just realize you're going to be messing up. You're going to be making a bunch of strange sounds on the guitar before you make the sounds you want to make. And so it's very important for you to not be negative at all about the sounds you're going to be making, and the fact that you're going to be going a long time before you can really make the sounds that you really like to make. So it's a journey. So all the way through it, you want to remain positive. So the first exercise that I like to teach everyone is a basic sound where you're using your thumb to make a basic sound on the strings. And what I like to do, instead of taking your thumb and lifting out with it, which allows you to come out with a little too far, so then it's a little harder to come back, is you take your thumb and you land it on the next string. So just think about that if you have your guitar, is you're just making a nice sound and then landing your thumb on the next string. And you do that throughout all of the strings. So at any point you can stop the video and try out what I'm teaching you. So you want to get used to that. That way it doesn't travel very far away. You can come back and make the sound again, which is very important, because now we're going to learn to use all our fingers. And as you see, most of you probably know that these are strings and these are frets, and this is how you make different sounds. Is you press on the fret. It's very important to make sure your finger is just behind the fret instead of far back from the fret. If you want to fret this first fret, you want to put your first finger right behind it. Very important to do that. Now, of course, you want to be in the right position, and you want to work on just the right amount of pressure. And this is the task that will take you a while to get, is that you're just putting the right amount of pressure on the string. Because if you don't press down very hard, you get this sound, right? And if you press down a little harder, you get this. Get that kind of buzzy sound, right? Which you don't want, but you'll be hearing a lot. And then eventually you're going to get it to where you press down just hard enough and you get that nice sound. But anytime you feel that you're hearing this buzzy sound, you're just not pressing down enough. And it's what we're asking our fingers to do is something very precise. So we have to realize we're training our fingers to do something very precise, to hit just the right part of the neck of the guitar and just the right amount of pressure. So now we want to practice doing that with all our fingers. Very important to use all of your fingers. What happens is this is the strong finger, this is another strong finger, and then it starts getting very weak, and then the pinky, you're going to be upset with your pinky for a while, because your pinky's not going to be able to do much. It's just down there going, I don't know what to do with it. I'm kind of weak. So we're trying to strengthen up our pinky. Right? So we want to be kind to our pinky, but we don't want to ignore it. A lot of, when I teach beginners particularly, they just don't want to use their pinky. But it's very important to get your pinky involved. You don't want to feel left out. So we're going to do this. We're going to go open, right? When we play it without any frets, we're playing open, and we're going to open 1. And then we're using our second finger on the second fret. We go to the second fret, and we notice it's right behind the fret. Then the third fret with our third finger. And now our pinky, we might have to roll up our hand a little bit in order to get up there. And then we want to get that pinky happening there. This is the toughest one. So it's very tempting to do this, to go up like that, to go bum, 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 and then move it up here and say, forget the pinky. So you want to really try to get that pinky happening. So that's a very important exercise. It's a way you can just warm up and start things going in your practice session. Now, getting a practice session is very important because it's much more important to play guitar a little bit every day rather than once a week for a half hour. It's better if you did it just 5 minutes every day. And part of the deal is you need to have a set of exercises that you can do. So even if you just do those exercises, it'll help you to get into the guitar. So even if you just come into the guitar and go, okay, before I get onto my Game Boy or whatever, I'm going to play for a few minutes and I'm just going to do my exercises and then I'll go into something else. So even if you just do that much, it's much better to keep working with that because it'll strengthen your forearm muscles, which is what operates your fingers, and it'll get your calluses going. So you need to do it just a little bit every day. Little bit every day, and if you have a few exercises that you know cold, that you know really well, you can just go in and do them, do a little bit, and then put it down and go do something else. Very important to have that. So here's how this exercise is gonna go eventually. So it's gonna go a little quicker. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're gonna do 4 just once, and then right back down. 3, 2, 1, open. Let's listen to that again. It's a very important exercise and it's something you can do. It just gets you to work on the technique that you need in order to place your fingers perfectly and to place it just at the right amount of pressure. And even though it's simple, it's not easy. And at the beginning, you're not going to sound very good. You're going to sound about like this. Right? It's not going to sound very good. So I recommend that you do very slowly, very slowly. Try to get that nice sound. And don't worry if you make buzzes and stuff like that, but just make a note of it and just make the adjustments with your fingers so you get it to sound right. Then you can work to speed it up a little bit. But it's much more important for you to go slowly and accurately before you try to go fast. You want to build up that perfect pressure and perfect placement before you start speeding up a little bit. And then you do that on every string. Go down to the next string. Next string. And then it gets this coordinated too. You start coordinating your thumb and making sound here with your fingers on your left hand. Then come up again. So you're building up strength in your forearm and you're building up your calluses there too. It's a great exercise, just so you know, because most of the time you'll be playing up here at this part, in this part of the neck anyway. So work on that. It's very important. And then you can do variations if you want to go, oh, it's getting a little dull. After you get that down well, this will take you a while. But after you get that down, you can alternate it. You can do this. You can just have fun. It's just a technique exercise to get your fingers moving, and it's something that you can get down. You don't have to worry about playing a song or making it musical. You just work on the technique. So very important to do that. A quick plug about tuning. You need to tune very well, and you need to be able to keep your guitar in perfect tune, and they have these wonderful electronic tuning devices that connect right to your guitar. And what's nice about this is because it doesn't matter if it's really noisy in the room, you can tune it. Whereas if some of the tuning apps that they have on the phone, you have to balance it on your knee, and then sometimes if there's other noises going on, it doesn't pick it up very well. So these are really worthwhile to get. They cost, unfortunately, like 15, 20 bucks. Is a little pricey, but then you can keep it right here, and you can keep your guitar always perfectly in tune. It's really important to keep your guitar in tune when you're playing, because even if you're playing well and you're doing well with your exercises and your chords, if it's not in tune, it's not going to sound very good. It's not going to encourage you to want to play. So now another thing when you're playing is you want to always be relaxed. You never want to be tense. Even when you're messing up totally, you want to be completely relaxed when you're messing up, and then eventually you will get excellent at it, and you'll keep that sense of relaxed Very important. You don't want to be tense. You don't want to keep tension in your shoulders. Everything's just got to be relaxed. And again, it's much more important for you to be relaxed than to make the exercises perfect. You want to create that sense of relax and calm too. So we have tuning down. So again, that's the beginning. So now I want to teach you a little bit of right hand technique. Now that we've done a little left hand technique, I want to do the right hand and get that rolling. So thumb technique is a good technique to just make a basic sound. But now I want to encourage you to do strumming and finger picking. And again, I can't emphasize enough that even though this is simple things, it's difficult. It's difficult. You're going to have to realize that it's going to take you a while. If you calm yourself and go, this is going to take me a while, then you won't get frustrated. It's very important that you don't get frustrated when you're learning guitar, particularly at this beginning stages. You want to always remain positive. So let's do a little finger picking. So the finger picking has to do with the two sections of the strings. I kind of divide up the strings in two sections. Here's the bass strings. You get these kind of low, nice low notes. And then you have the high notes. And with the basic technique that I'm going to teach is you use these three fingers to operate these three, what they call treble. It's another word for higher strings. It's treble. It's a higher note. And then this is the bass down here. So it's very important that you have your first finger on what's called the G string, which is the third string up. You got your first finger there, and your second finger is going to be right below it. And then your third finger is going to be right below that. This is the G, B, and E strings. And you're just going to practice flicking those strings. And again, at first it's going to feel very awkward, but you just want to do it super lightly. It's very important to do it super lightly at the beginning, right? Just super light. You're working on accuracy. And even though I'm making it look easy, you have to develop a really precise sense in order to pick the strings really well. So just let it take time, let it be awkward, but just have fun at the same time. Just kind of work with, you're trying to train your fingers to do this. And so a good thing to do is just one right after the other. We go the first finger, second finger, and then the third finger. And then you just do that over. And then you just keep rolling, kind of roll it. And then once you get a nice sound, you can add more things to it, but this is the foundation of most finger picking patterns that you'll come across. So you're going to do this eventually. It'll take you a while. You want to just be able to roll it across. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, another thing you can do to make it a little more fun is then you can add your thumb. But it's best to start with this first before the thumb comes in. So the thumb then is going to do the top string, and you're going to hit that low E, boom, and then you're going to do the 1, 2, 3. Thumb, 1, 2, 3. Isn't that nice? And then once you get to know it pretty well, you can speed it up. It's very simple, but it sounds very nice when you just get it rolling. But at first, again, it's not going to be very easy, and you just got to relax and just start out slow and just make a nice sound with it. Just enjoy yourself. Make it super light first, and then try not to move your fingers too much. You're basically taking your fingers and you're sort of coming up like this with it. You don't want to do this. You don't want to lift up your hand like this too far away when you're hitting it. You just want to take it and then just come up with it. Almost like a little claw, just kind of flipping up like this. So try that. The thumb is a little different, and you'll see that when you're trying it. So again, just to let you know where you're heading with this very, very simple finger picking pattern, you can do a lot with it. So if you have the basic roll down after a while, and this is going to be a while, it's going to take you a while, then when you add chords to it, you can get this really nice. See, it's very simple, but it sounds very pretty. So again, simple, but it's not easy. It takes a while to get there. Like, even though I'm making it look easy, it took me a long, long time to get to that point where I can just do that nicely. Again, I like to do the analogy of when folks are learning skateboard tricks and they're trying to flip the board. I asked them, I said, how long did it take you to do that? They said, oh, I can't even count the times that I had to flip the board in order to get it just right. So playing the guitar is kind of like that. You just got to do stuff over and over and over again, and it's not going to work for a long time. And then pretty soon it'll start getting better. Like after a while, they flip the board. No, they almost got it. Almost got it, and they had to keep going endlessly in order to do it. So it's very important to just be relaxed and not get upset at yourself. You just go as quickly as you can. So that's a good thing for finger picking. And then you can do it without doing any chords too, because when you start doing chords, your fingers are going to start hurting. So it's nice to have things you can do, practice without, and give your left hand a rest. So speaking of chords, we're going to do one chord. This is kind of an intermediate stage of the game. So this is going to be the D chord. Some of you probably already know this, but I'm going to show you some fun things you can do with the chord if you already know it pretty well. But again, this chord is nice because it's still hard because you got to press 3 fingers down, but you don't have to bring your hand so far up on top of the neck here. So you bring your fingers up, and this is the tricky part of getting a chord to sound good, is you again have to press them all down so that all the strings sound nicely. So you have to push my first finger here, second finger here, and I'm assuming you know a D chord. And then this is the toughest one because you have to bring this third finger over, and you got to get it so this doesn't touch this string and block this string. So you got to bring that over so that you get that nice sound. Most of the time your finger will drift down and you'll get this. So you're trying to get a good position where you can get a D string, a D chord. So now the D, I want to start doing the next right hand technique, which is strumming. Of course, we all want to learn how to strum. Strumming is what I do mostly on the guitar. I love to play the guitar and just strum and sing. That's my deal. I'm not really technical on lead stuff. I just love to strum. So the D is a really cool chord for practicing strumming. So again, what I like about the D chord is you can use the bottom 3 strings. And what I want you to do is use the tip of your finger. And this will work well even if you're later want to use a pick. It's the same technique. You just throw a pick in there and you can use the same thing. But if you don't have a pick, you can still play quite well. You can get a nice sound even without a pick. So, but you're basically gonna take your finger, and then you're gonna put your thumb right here, right below it, and it's just almost kind of bracing it. And you're gonna keep this super loose. So as I'm playing, you can see the tip of my finger is quite loose. It's just sort of drifting over the strings. And we're going to focus just on the bottom 3 or 4 strings. We're not going to worry about these top strings. So at first, you just want to keep it really light. Just see how I'm just doing it super light. You can get a really nice sound. You don't have to hit it really hard or dig in there too much. You're just kind of lightly going over. Now, another important part of guitar playing is developing rhythm, and that's a tough thing to do too. So the basic rhythm that you start out with on the guitar is down up, where you're going down up. That's, if you watch any guitar player and they're strumming, this is the basic motion that they have, just down up. And that's the foundation of all the other fancy strum patterns that you can develop, is you got to do that. And the first one that I teach is it goes down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. So the down emphasizes. So now again, I'm making it look easy. It's going to take you a while to get there. But you want to start focusing on this. You want to start focusing on it, and you want to do it super light at first. Just super light, and just find your own sense of touch on the strings. You're trying to make a nice sound. That's the main thing. And some people use a different technique, but this is a good way to start your own personal relationship with the guitar. So now the cool thing about the D is you can change the tone of the chord by just doing really easy things like lifting up a finger or putting down a finger. And this is for the kind of the more advanced. So once you get a nice strum happening, you can lift up your middle finger and then put it back. And then lift up and then put it back. So I'm lifting up my middle finger there, just lifting up and putting it back. And see, so it takes a nice D chord, which sounds beautiful on its own, but then you can, what I call dressing it up. And then it makes just a nice basic strum sound really nice. And then you can also, with this, you can also put your pinky down right below the third finger. So you get this. Right, I'm just doing a basic down, down. And then you can just make some really nice music by just lifting up and putting down your fingers. And this will toughen up your fingers really well. So that's what you want. That's one of the main things you got to do is toughen up your fingers. So this is a really good chord. And also one more thing with the G chord, you can also lift up your first finger too, and you get this. So on one chord that you learn, you can do all sorts of fun stuff. And then you can, once you know this pretty well, you can add lots of things. And then when you start changing the chords, you have a good sense of rhythm. But it's very important to start with your rhythm, because that's when you can start having fun, is when you're getting a nice rhythm. So lastly, for some of the more intermediate folks, I want to take this D chord and we're going to do some cool finger picking, a cool finger picking pattern for you. And this finger picking starts where it goes, you use your third finger, second finger, first finger. So you go 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. But then you hit your third finger twice. So you're going 3, 3, 2, 1. 3, 3, 2, 1. 3, 3, 2. That's a really nice, it's a nice practice for a good basic finger picking pattern. And then what you can do is you can add that wonderful pinky finger, so you can get this. You go. So I'm just dropping down my pinky finger on one of the times that I pluck on the 3. So you're going 3, 2, 1, and then you drop your pinky down. Whoops, how does it go? So you're dropping your pinky on that, and then you can experiment and do your own thing with it. But it's basically just taking that same 3, 3, 2, 1, and then putting your pinky up. And then lifting up. 3, 3, 2, 1, 3, 3, 3. So first just started out without the pinky. And then if you want to add the thumb too, you can get this really nice bass in there. Three, 3, 2, 1. So again, this is a really nice finger picking pattern. And what's cool about learning basic patterns is then you can discover your own pattern that you would really like to play. Like you can learn that basic pattern, but then if there's something that you really like, you go, oh, I like the way this, you can make it your own pattern. And that's why it's good to learn just totally basic patterns. And then your own sense of music, of what you like personally will come out by learning these really basic patterns. So, and then one last thing, an intermediate strum that's really important, beginning intermediate, is on the D, is down, down, up, down, up. It's a really good pattern to use. So you're going down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And that's the tricky part, right? Where you go down, down, up, down, down. And it's a variation of the down, down, up, down, up, down, up. But you're just skipping a little thing where you're going up, up. It's just a really super useful strumming pattern that you can use in all sorts of songs. And once you get that down, you can make variations of it kind of with it naturally for any song that you use. It's just one of the most useful strumming patterns that you can do. The main thing, again, is just to remain positive throughout the whole thing, and just don't worry if it's not sounding too good. Just keep after it, keep after it. Hey, this is a song I'm going to be doing, and I wanted to go over the chord progression with you, the basic chord progression. And it's in the key of C, so we're going C, and then we go to F, back to C, and then we drop our pinky down and do a C7. Then we go to F, and then we go to C, and then we go to F again, and then we C to A7 to D7, and then we go to G7, and then back to C. It's a song that always reminds me of my dad. So let's see if it comes out. Here we go. So. Blues from a baby living by the San Francisco Bay. Ocean liner took her so far away. Didn't mean to treat her so bad. She was the best girl I ever have had. Said goodbye, Lord, it made me cry. I wanna lay down and die. I ain't got a nickel and I ain't got a lousy dime. If she don't come back, I think I'm gonna lose my mind. If she ever come back to stay, it's gonna be another brand new day. Walking with my baby down by the San Francisco Bay. Yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Sitting there looking from my back door, wondering which way to go. Woman I'm so crazy about, she don't love me no more. Think I'll catch me a freight train, kind of feeling blue. Right all the way to the end of the line, thinking only of you. Meanwhile in another city, just about to go insane. Thought I heard my baby, Lord, the way she used to call my name. If she ever come back to stay, it's gonna be another brand new day. Walking with my baby down by the San Francisco Bay. Hey, hey. Walking with my baby down by the San Francisco Bay. Yeah. Walking with my baby down by the San Francisco Bay.
Thanks for tuning in to Medford Anywhere Learning TV. Medford School District is a place where all are learning, and learning is for all.